They use fine print on every bill the public has passed into law over the years to slowly erode your rights with your permission. The public has over the years become too lazy and far too trusting of the government to read any of the fine print on any bills put into legislation. Even worse, the public refuses to acknowledge the fact you can't change one law without changing any and all corresponding laws. Through this method, you have willingly eroded your freedoms, all in the guise of being granted more security. In the words of Thomas Jefferson, those who would sacrifice a little freedom for a little security deserve neither freedom nor security. They constantly use the word terrorism to guide America into more and more wars. They will tell you a group of people threaten your freedoms. They wish to destroy your country and kill all who stand in their way. The word is used to deceive you into thinking there is a threat from abroad. But have you really ever given it some real thought? When has our freedoms ever been threatened by a foreign force? Have you ever considered the so-called traditional way America goes to war? How the president of that time always wants to go to war, but has to wait for something to happen first? Have you ever wondered exactly how that something almost always ends up happening against the support of the American people and allows the effort of war to happen? The traditional way America goes to war is what would be best for U.S. interest. Some people might think President Roosevelt wanted to get us into World War II. You might recall he had to wait for the Pearl Harbor episode. Some people think President Wilson wanted to get us into World War I. You might recall he had to wait for the Lusitania episode. Some people might think President Johnson wanted to get us into Vietnam. You might recall he had to wait for the Gulf of Tonkin episode. Some people might think President McKinley wanted to get us into the Spanish War. You might recall he had to wait for the U.S. Maine episode. Some people might think President Lincoln wanted to get us into the Civil War. You might recall he had to wait for the Fort Sumter episode. Some people might think President Bush wanted to get us into the Iraqi War. You might recall he had to wait for the 9/11 episode.